And we have grown-ass men and women out here doing whatever they can to try to make sure that does not happen. That is the weirdest thing in the world, but it is what it is, and I'm glad that Caitlin has a great head on her shoulder.
It's strange but true in the world of athletics, where seasoned men and women compete fiercely. They do all in their power to prevent certain things from ever happening. It may seem strange, but that's the truth. And fortunately, Caitlin keeps her cool admirably throughout. For instance, Angel Reese recently faced LeBron James in a historic matchup that has been building for a while. With the stamina of a marathon runner and the strategic acumen of a chess master, Angel is a master at political scheming and rhetorical combat. However, she frequently performs poorly when the attention shifts to the basketball floor, as though she has left her best abilities in the locker room. Her claim to fame, her competition with Caitlin Clark, who recently won a national championship, rather than her own triumphs. Rather than rejoicing, she made fun of Caitlin right away, making their business rivalry more personal. LeBron James, a basketball legend, took charge this time to resolve the issue. Legendary in his own right, LeBron was not going to tolerate Angel's remarks. In addition to criticizing her gameplay, he also brought attention to her previous scandals, which dealt her a devastating blow. In actuality, these kinds of failures result from focusing on the abilities of others rather than developing your own. Thanks mostly to Caitlin's influence, their league also achieved a significant milestone by traveling on a chartered plane for the first time, which was a historic moment. LeBron, who is renowned for his direct style, determined that Angel's constant antics were unacceptable. LeBron criticized Angel's almost obsessive obsession with Caitlin in a strong speech that affected the WNBA in addition to the NBA. He questioned her focus, implying that instead of diminishing Caitlin's accomplishments, she would want to focus her energies on enhancing her skills. "Will you please stop?" he begged, his frustration evident. However, LeBron's first reprimand was only the start. He went deeper and harsher in his criticism, pushing Angel to put aside the small arguments and show her value on the basketball floor. More than just a sportsman standing up for a teammate, LeBron's involvement served as a sobering reminder of the importance of professionalism and decency in the sport. He emphasized the importance of sportsmanship above competitiveness, and the necessity for Angel to change her focus from personal grudges to real competition. A crucial turning point in Angel's career was brought to light when LeBron turned this altercation into a teaching moment. Would she accept the call to improve or keep going on a direction marred by controversy? Time will tell. He expressed worries over Angel's treatment of Caitlin, emphasizing that Caitlin has treated her opponents with respect as though it were her professional obligation, even in the face of the relentless onslaught of challenges. Angel, on the other hand, turns every encounter into a WWE match-like show, complete with insulting remarks and dramatic stunts. "Is this really how you treat a fellow player?" asked LeBron, shocked. His condemnation went beyond just words. He created a shadow so wide that it highlighted the sharp contrast between Angel's dubious behavior and Caitlin's dignified behavior. Since millions of people remember her provocative gesture in Caitlin Clark's face during the national championship victory, Angel Reese's involvement in this rivalry has grown to the point where it is starting to damage not only her reputation but also the WNBA's reputation. Angel has a history of igniting controversy, especially with her constant verbal abuse of Kate Clark, so this conduct is nothing new. Remember the infamous "you can't see me" question? During the crucial game, Angel boldly utilized John Cena's trademark taunt on Caitlin. Even though trash talking is accepted in basketball, LeBron felt obliged to step in and call the behavior offensive and needless. Even while the media took notice, it was for the wrong reasons. LeBron made it apparent that this conduct signaled a worrying change from competitive play to something much more worrisome. It seems that Angel Reese is envious of Caitlin Clark since she feels that she is the reason of her own difficulties. But the fact is that Caitlin's skill would attract fans whether she faced Angel Reese at LSU or someone else. Last but not least is the notorious head slam, in which Angel turned from verbal abuse to physical violence. It was so startling that LeBron had to draw attention to it as an instance of unfathomable shock. LeBron made it pretty obvious that the aggressiveness was clearly unsportsmanlike behavior and not just a sign of competitive spirit. Such behavior is obviously against the rules of sportsmanship, particularly in LeBron's opinion, where fair play is crucial. His criticism is a harsh reminder that Angel's behavior is not just unprofessional, but also quite worrisome. He questioned how these provocations continue to play out and portrayed the incident as evidence that Angel's priority had moved from playing basketball to purposefully upsetting Caitlyn. Is it an attention-seeking tactic, or is it more? LeBron implied that it was the latter. Angel was behaving like a toddler who is frantically trying to get attention. This behavior is the result of her need to use theatrics because she is unable to leave her mark with her basketball skills alone. It's like when a kid misbehaves to get their parents' attention. LeBron summed up the problem when he said that although trash talking is a common part of basketball culture, what Angel was doing was completely unacceptable, very ridiculous, and not in line with the spirit of the game. He clarified that there is a subtlety to trash talking that involves supporting one's statements with on-court performance, which Angel did not accomplish. Furthermore, despite Caitlin Clark's notable accomplishments and appeal as a prominent figure in the sport, LeBron said that this needless controversy was unjustly placed on her shoulders. He emphasized how Clark's debut was the most watched game in 23 years, drawing over 2.3 million people on ESPN, and how a new charter aircraft policy was put in place because of security precautions for the famous athlete. "Without Caitlyn, you're just another player," LeBron said, delivering a crushing blow that went beyond simple criticism. It emphasized the idea that Reese's image might be inflated by her rivalry rather than her own skills. LeBron then tackled the fundamental question: is Angel genuinely boosting her career with notable accomplishments, or is she just creating chaos? This is a crucial concern, particularly in light of the possibility that her ongoing conflicts with Caitlyn are impeding her ability to advance professionally. Although the implication was clear-cut and possibly a bit harsh, it accurately depicted the circumstances. LeBron had a long way to go. He pointed out that Caitlin Clark had captured the interest of conservative viewers, something that prominent African-American athletes were also aware of and expressed concern about for the sport's diversity and culture. Both black and white WNBA players have recently expressed their displeasure with the league's commissioner for failing to adequately handle the racial enmity between Angel and Caitlyn that has emerged on social media. LeBron provided hard data to back up these accusations, demonstrating how revolutionary Caitlin Clark's 2024 campaign has been. Notably, she averaged an incredible 27.8 points per game during the NCAA tournament, setting a record when she scored over 40 points in a triple-double. With Iowa games drawing over 12,000 people per, Caitlin's charismatic presence has attracted audiences bigger than that of a normal summer concert. Not only are Caitlin's performances outstanding, but they are revolutionizing the WNBA. She's not only playing, she's bringing women's basketball to a new level of prominence and altering the sport's appeal. Even though she has had her moments of brilliance, such as her 15-point, 10-rebound performance during the national championship, Angel Reese finds it difficult to live up to the high standards established by Caitlyn's accomplishments. LeBron has been critical of this discrepancy, especially when Angel uses offensive trash language to try to stay relevant. Despite allegations of unfair officiating and media favoritism, there is still little proof. Angel clings to the myth that everything is against her, or that she has particular difficulties in the WNBA bucket mentality, if you will, but the facts seem to indicate differently. She appears to have been greatly impacted by the criticism that followed LeBron's vocal remarks, which caused her to behave in a way that some have called temperamental. Her admiration for LeBron, who has since turned into a vocal critic who openly questions her ethics and behavior, may be the cause of her reaction. Amid all of this chaos, Caitlin Clark's name is being floated along with MVP discussions, especially in comparison to other elite players like A'ja Wilson. LeBron's support for Caitlin's domination on the court is unshakable. He publicly rejects the allegations of racial bias made against her as completely untrue. He contends that such charges take away from the true talent and diligence that have helped Caitlin reach the top of the game, highlighting a rise driven by merit rather than racial prejudice. LeBron made it abundantly evident that Caitlin Clark's extraordinary success is not due to her color, but rather to her extraordinary talent, unwavering work ethic, and outright dominance on the basketball court. He was aggressively criticizing Angel for exploiting accusations of racism to divert attention away from her own patchy performances, rather than merely supporting Caitlyn in his remarks. Reese had to face this painful but essential reality. The argument that a successful white girl must be inherently problematic implies that her critics are driven more by prejudice than by objective criticism, echoing some of the controversial language seen in larger political debates. Supporters of Reese, who feels she is subjected to a harsher scrutiny than Caitlyn, share her long-standing claim that a double standard is in place. But when LeBron stepped in, he fundamentally changed the conversation by highlighting how groundbreaking and indisputable Caitlyn's impact on basketball is. By attracting record-breaking audiences and generating previously unheard-of attention for the sport, she is not only playing but also radically changing the face of women's basketball. For example, under her direction, her team won a game that drew close to 10 million people, breaking the previous record for the most watched women's collegiate basketball game. This is about the stories that are told about these sportsmen, not simply about athletics. LeBron denounced as ethnically offensive and without merit the unwarranted hostility that certain Indiana Fever supporters had shown toward Caitlyn. He advised Angel to accept responsibility for her own career and deeds, rather than portraying herself as the victim of unjust persecution. The audience is no longer receptive to such tactics, he said, urging her to abandon the Isubi story concept. LeBron's criticism went beyond personal complaints to consider the WNBA's larger ramifications. Viewership increased 400% from year to year under Caitlyn's leadership, a growth trajectory that would often take years. LeBron utilized this figure to emphasize Caitlyn's influence and contrast it with the drama Angel feeds, which he believes is harmful to the purity and development of the sport. LeBron asked for action in his closing words rather than only criticizing. He urged Angel to focus her efforts on improving the league in other ways, such supporting increased player pay, more efficient WNBA marketing, and sincere regard for all players. He emphasized that the league's actual problems were being obscured by the continual personal disputes. LeBron made it plain that both the WNBA and its players deserve better. This isn't just a little dispute, it's a turning point for women's basketball, and Angel says his actions should advance the league's goals rather than diminish its stature.